If you're new here, welcome! We rate a bunch of books on how close they are to Bloodborne and on no other merits. This is a recap of every book we went over this month, and going from the least like Bloodborne to the most like Bloodborne. The Immortalist has nothing to do with Bloodborne, but the premise is pretty cool to read. It's 4 siblings who learn the day they're gonna die, and they're dealing with that information. If you want a modern, surreal drama, it's pretty interesting. Hyde has an eldritch beast that is invisible unless you're a target and fuels the prosperity of an otherwise worthless community. We stand the monster. Everything else in this book, for me, was alright. The Bell Chime is a lot like The King in Yellow, where it's modern people dealing with some eldritch twist. The first chapter on its own stands the test of a really solid no-sleep creepypasta madness trip. The rest of it is abstracted human drama. If that's your vibe, you can go for it. The Drowned Woods is a nice fantasy romp about a water witch and a cursed man, and some very fun powers. I'd say if you want a neat, self-contained fantasy experience, this might be the one for you. The Fall of the House of Usher is Edgar Allan Poe made a haunted house story, and the climax is under a blood-red moon. I'll take the vibes more than the actual story content. Do you want a slow burn gothic horror with evil premonitions, weird dreams, and some weird sexual tension? I do. It's written really well. Even if the first half drags, I still remember it fondly. This book is full of spiders is just another Tuesday for 2 idiots who live in a naturally eldritch town. They fight monsters dropped on their front doorstep with the grace and composure of a car vaulting over various walls. I recommend this book and its series if you're into horror comedy. Gideon the Ninth is Lesbian Necromancers in Space. This book is its own roller coaster. Either you like roller coasters or you don't like roller coasters. Either you're having fun or you're not, and it will let you know whether or not you are going to have a good time within the first chapter, so read that and see if you like it. Also, it has a final boss. The Mountain of Madness is an Arctic expedition, and it's the really long one with the description of the really big city and the pictographs that explain the history of everything. It's not the most eldritch horror of Lovecraft stuff, but I will say it's my personal favorite. The King in Yellow, the grandfather of Eldritch, Lovecraft's inspiration, but also just a good manifesto of an author's short stories. Half of them are American writers in Paris dealing with their lives, the other half is the Eldritch stuff that everybody likes. What Moves the Dead is what I imagine an extra area of Bloodborne would be. It's its own little contained story in a little mansion location, and it's got its own little cool monsters. It's a remix of The House of Usher, and even though it's relatively short and doesn't quite use its time the best, it does well enough that it gives you a good spin on a new classic. The Bloodborne comics are the Bloodborne comics, and one of them has Eileen the Crow as a major character and some massively trippy visuals. The other two are also good, but I am biased. Between Two Fires is the crown jewel. This is the one. If you read one book on this list, this is the book. Take Christianity, make it eldritch. Add some heavy metal, add a touch of the 1300s Black Plague, and we have one trippy, awesome Bloodborne experience that is very much in between of Dark Souls and this, but it's as close as you're gonna get, guys. Thanks for a great first month, and there'll be many more to come.